How's it going? So now that the user can successfully sign up to our site, what we're going to do is handle that success scenario and forward them to the homepage because they're now registered. We're just going to send them straight to the homepage, but we do want to remember that they're logged in, and we're going to do that using sessions. Now, what are sessions, I hear you ask? That's a good question. Well, sessions are a way we're going to keep track of the fact they're logged in. So every user on this site will have their own session, and we can save the fact that they're logged in so that when the page refreshes, it just checks if the session is set and redirects them if they are. And we actually do this already. If I go back to app.js, I think it's here. Oh no, it's actually in the middleware. You see we had this middleware require login. We actually wrote something which handled this. If I open up the middleware file again, you'll see we have this require login. And all it does to know if the user's logged in or not is check if the session is set and if the session has a property called a user. So if it does have a property called a user, we know they're logged in and we just carry on. If they're not logged in, then we send them to the login page. So let's go ahead and use sessions then. So the first thing we need to do is actually install the session package. So go to your terminal and type in npm install express-session. Oops, it's session, not sessions. So in npm install express-session. Press enter, and let's let it work its magic. And we now have sessions. Happy days. So what we're going to do is go to app.js, and let's actually use that on this page. So we can say const session equals require, you guessed it, express-session, like this, which was the name of the package we installed. So this const right here contains the session object. Now we have just like 3 lines of setup to do or something like that. If I scroll down to about here, let's do it underneath this part. We're just going to set the app to use sessions. So app.use, and in parentheses, we're going to then say session, which is of course the object we just created, and we will create an instance of that, but we will then pass in some curly brackets, which will be the options. So let me move this out of the way. So this is what we've got. We're creating a new instance of the session, and we're passing in some options in these curly brackets right here. So what are we going to pass in? Well, we're going to pass in a session secret, and this is what's used to like sign your session. Now the secret is essentially used to hash the session. So you know, kind of like how we hashed the password in the last video. Well, the sessions are also hashed internally, and it hashes it using a string. So similar to how we did the hashing with this salt rounds right here of 10. Remember I said if you change that number, you'll get a completely different hash. Well, it's a similar sort of concept in the sense that we pass in a string here, and then it hashes it with that string. So if they don't have that string, the sessions won't line up, and it just protects against people hijacking the session, like hackers and stuff. But you really don't need to care about that so much. All you need to know is that you should set a secret in here, and it can be any string you want. It really doesn't matter. It can be random letters, random words, or whatever. So I'm just going to put barbecue chips right there. So that's my secret. So it's going to use this, and it's going to hash the session using this secret. So like I said, anything you want in there. Anyway, what we're going to do then is say resave equals true. And what this does is it forces the session to be saved even when the session wasn't modified during the server's request. I mean, I'm saying this a lot, but you really don't need to concern yourself with this either if you don't want to. I only have this here because I was following some documentation a while ago in which it showed me how to implement the sessions. And I don't know that I would need to set it to false. So the documentation I was following had it set to true. So that's good enough for me. I've tried it and it's all good. But essentially, it just means it saves the session back to the storage, even when the session didn't get modified at any point during that request. And then the last one we want to do is we want to set the save uninitialized option to false. Now, save uninitialized just prevents it from saving the session as uninitialized, as the name suggests. So if it wasn't set, it would still save it as initialized, which takes up space. But if it's not set, we just don't want to save anything, which is why we're saying false. And then we're just checking if the session exists or not. So it just saves a bit of storage. But again, even with this, really doesn't matter for our implementation. Yeah, it just saves a little bit of storage on the server. But that's it. That's all the setup we need for the sessions. So we're now ready to go with this. And sessions couldn't really be simpler to implement. So if I go back to, in fact, let me save this first. If I go back to register routes, we're going to then just set the session in here. What I'm going to do is go to this line here where we previously logged the user. We're not going to do that anymore. All we're going to do is say rec for request dot session dot user equals user. So we're just storing the logged in user, or the newly created user I should say, in the session at the user property, because that is what we're checking in the middleware right here. Okay. And then the last thing we're going to do, and then we're done, is just to redirect the user, because we've, they've logged in, or essentially they've registered, so we know they are logged in. So what we want to do is just return res for response dot redirect, and then we're just going to redirect them, to the home page, which is just / that takes you to the root level of our site, which would be the home page, because in app.js we have said that when the user accesses this root level, we forward them to the home page. So yeah, that's it, guys. Oh, and by the way, in case you forgot where the rec and res variables come from, they come from up here. They are passed into this function right here. We've got the request and the response variables. So yeah, that's it. Let's give that a try. I'm gonna restart the server, and let's see what we get. Oh, I've just installed Express again. I keep doing that. So I'm restarting the server, and we get a success message. Let me go to the register page, and I'm going to sign up again. Wait, did I have any user in here? Let me just refresh. I don't know if I did. Okay, no, I don't have anything. So I'm going to go and create a user now. I'll make this Reese Kenny, and then this can be Reese Kenny. Well, that's going to be my username, and then Reese at gmail.com, and then the password is going to be password, and then password to confirm it. Alright, so if I press login now, hopefully it will create the user and send us to the home page. Alright, it did. So there we go. It is it's working. And the reason we're seeing this is because this let us through. The session was set, the session user property was set, and then it activated this, and it did not send us to the login page like it was doing previously. So we know it's working now. Great.